I was talking to my therapist about it. He was saying that when something happens that's like just so statistically unlikely, then it feels like it's just like a likely thing to happen again.
King County with a transfer. He says him and his friend were attacked by a mountain lion.
Hundreds of thousands of people like go and do this every year. You know, we can count on one hand how many times it happens. Pretty sure right around here is actually where I flag people down.
I think this is it.
Wildlife officials are baffled by the first deadly mountain lion attack in Washington state in nearly a century.
At first I was like, no way. And then I thought about it more and it just felt like I want to do the ride again. I'm sure it's not gonna feel great, but it feels like it's time. It's not that riding in and of itself means one thing. I think it's the effects of it. There's just a sense of unadulterated joy that I cannot reproduce doing anything else.
Is it spinning like it's up with your new friends at LA? Clinking glasses of deja vu. You've always known that you would end up there. They say you're okay, it's okay, but are we okay?
I love riding when it's cold out. That feeling of air around you and seeing the world go past you. Something very satisfying about hearing that crunching beneath you, to like know what different tires sound like. Like, oh no, that's not a car following me. That's like just my friend on these very like, you know, tires.
Please don't run away, running away never got me anything. Don't run away, I thought I should have let you know.
I cannot describe how it's more than just that it's fun. One of the reasons I love riding and going into the woods is that it is about feeling very whole and grounded also in my physical body. Like, this is the being that I have.
Has become the latest state to ban transgender women and girls from playing on female sports teams.
Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds has signed a bill that bans trans.
A record number of anti-LGBTQ plus bills.
Growing up, like something didn't feel right. I kind of felt like I was wearing a chicken suit, right? Like you're wearing this big thing that doesn't fit and it's just like, oh, I know how I visualize myself and this is how I visualize myself. And whatever that means about my gender, I'm sure. In many ways, these two things were extremely separate because none of the people I knew who were trans biked and none of the people I knew that biked were trans. It felt like there was something lacking, wanting to have a similar feeling of like feeling included, feeling wanted, while I was doing arguably like the activity that makes me the happiest, I think was really what it was about. I reached out to SJ specifically. It's like, oh, here is someone who is transmasculine, who loves riding bikes. It would be really nice to, you know, to connect with that person. We started chatting and then we met up a couple times. But that weekend, we decided to do a shorter loop out of North Bend, going through some like very well-traveled roads and trails. They were about 20 to 30 feet behind me, and I heard them yell, and all of a sudden I saw a very large cat behind them. Knowing what to do, we were standing, bikes in front of us, yelling, shoulder to shoulder, making noise, and it kept advancing. I took my bike, hucked it, and then that didn't stop. It kept advancing, threw their water bottle at it, and didn't stop. And the last thing I like visually remember is like, you know, an animal up on its hind legs, bearing teeth, bearing claws. And then it was, or like, I have to think about this, like, on my head, like in my shoulders, and I was pulled to the ground.
The two had been mountain biking near North Bend on Saturday when the animal attacked. First, it grabbed Isaac. When SJ started to run away, the cougar dropped Isaac and went after SJ.
I gotta check my mountain lion. My friend is up there. I don't know.
It let go. My only thought in that moment was literally like, get help.
Do you know what road you're on? Sure. I'm on a logging road. You're not gonna die.
Do you have any idea how far his friend is away from him?
You hear me?
Yeah, but the line's not there.
I'm so worried about my story.
Hey, Izzy. This is K7 News. We're doing a story about, I don't know if you heard, there was a Cougar attack. First one really since your incident a few years ago. And I'd imagine you have certain thoughts about this whole thing. And just wanted to reach out. Thanks so much, Izzy. Bye-bye.
Drinking it in while I'm drifting away, breathing you out of my lungs.
I don't know if it was just like sheer luck, but I grabbed a bike and I got on and I pedaled.
Out into space.
And I think in the back of my mind, I knew that the chances of them surviving were very slim. And in its simplest form, it took away someone who was a very new friend, and I think that sometimes that's harder because like there was so much potential in that. Yeah, I have a half-gram weight in my eyelid so that it closes because the upper left half of part of my face is paralyzed. I guess I think it's pretty obvious that there's like facial trauma. I think people expect you to tell the story of like, oh, I was a kid and I tripped and fell. As opposed to like, oh, I, had half my face shattered by a cougar. It is funny now, like standing here looking how uneven my ears are. But the physical pain was bad, but it wasn't horrible. I think the emotional pain of knowing that someone else was involved and like is gone because of it, knowing that emotional side, plus the emotional side of just like the barrage of like hateful shit. I don't think I've ever had the words to describe it, but there's this need to almost like see that there's an acknowledgement of what you went through. I have a very vivid memory of not being able to sleep because painkillers can do that to you, and it being like 3 a.m. and just I couldn't sleep and just looking for articles about what happened. And so the inevitability was you get to the bottom of the article and there's a comment section and then you just get sucked into that. And I think I was just in a place where I like couldn't restrain myself. Yes, I would read the horrible things that people would say that were like weirdly and overtly sexual, but some of the things when brought to light, no one would actually own up to saying those things, versus there's plenty of sentiment that was shared that people would say it again and very stalwartly defend it.
Stop with the trans shit. No one knows what these abbreviations of pronouns mean. More importantly, no normal
How do
person
the Jews generally feel about lunatics who won't accept biological reality?
They probably thought the Cougar would have respected them if they stated their boundaries.
Sounds like a couple anti-gun, social justice warrior soy boys getting a dose of reality.
That's what unnatural gets for going into the woods.
Do you want me to say how it made me feel, or do you want me to say what I would respond? I mean, it made me feel like shit. Yeah, I mean, I don't think, like, it does not feel good. There is more damage caused from perpetuating this idea that we didn't know what we were doing and we were trans, ergo trans people don't belong in the outdoors because they are just these city folk who have no idea. Do you know what I mean? Like, that feels more damaging, actually. So I think that's the big thing, is that there's the person who would double down and be like, trans people don't belong in the woods, or trans people don't belong anywhere, right? In reading all that, you know, and in like absorbing it, you do start to feel like, oh, maybe I did deserve this. When you have something happen to you that is catastrophic, even if it is like a statistical impossibility of ever happening again, it makes you feel like it could happen at any point. It was just the idea that I would never be able to like ride in the woods again, that I would never get to places that really felt out there, that I would be confined by my anxiety. And it took a long time before I even tried. It definitely is a bit steep. Shit. Nope, not gonna happen. Nope, it's just too... I forgot my mustache wax. Let's go down and back. Woof. Meeting Martina, her partner Jason, and then meeting other friends of theirs has been exceptionally helpful. Cookie. Oh yeah, I have cookies in my bag. You take a cookie and you put it in a blender with some ice cream. You make a cookie milkshake. When I couldn't eat solid foods, we did that one night.
I do remember at gravel camp, Izzy kept saying, hey, like, could you just like not get too far out of my line of sight? And I wasn't really registering the attack. I wasn't thinking about it. And then it dawned on me. This is somebody who is really pushing their comfort zone and is like on a much bigger journey than just coming down to ride bikes. We started only riding super close to Seattle. And then slowly over the years, it's been getting like more comfortable going further out of the city. My body, for the longest time, would immediately go into that fight or flight. Hearing branches break or rustling definitely sets that off. For me, the problem is that as soon as I go into the woods, that's never off. Having people who have been there every step of the way and thus maybe know where you are better than you know yourself has been extremely helpful. I wouldn't do it without these people to ride with me. And now I'm the co-director of Wild Composite Racing, which is a gender-expansive team that focuses on gravel and longer distance races. Hello, Sederbaum with an S. I have worked with race directors to make sure that there's a non-binary category, to make sure that there will be a podium for that non-binary category.
What's up, man? It's long overdue, and it needed to happen sooner, but Izzy was just so welcoming and encouraging to help us grow as an organization and a race, and also as individuals, as me personally.
It's really a necessity to not just bring people in and then walk away. It's to have these conversations, because the more you have them, the more then someone can say, I saw someone else do this and I know that they were okay or they had a good time, so now I'm gonna be there.
I grew up in a very conservative household. I would have never thought that 5-10 years ago, I would have a trans man stay at our house and share a dinner with them. And it's embarrassing to say that, and it's, ooh, holy cow. I've told Izzy so many times how much I appreciate just having conversations with him.
Is when it comes to diversity, we know we still have a long way to go. Take this excitement and take it to other races. Show up, sign up, and you are proving to an entire industry that you are here, you will be seen, and you are going to show up and kick some ass.
I don't want it to seem like I'm doing this out of a place of guilt, because I definitely am not, but it's just like, it feels like, oh, this is yours to do. I mean, I would want to honor anyone, but especially SJ and what they were trying to do, trying to advocate for inclusion and change. But I think now it's like what I feel called to do.
My stomach always gets up when I'm anxious.
Oh yeah, totally.
I call bullshit on like people being fearless. I don't think that is at all what is happening here. I think that courage is when you are so afraid of a thing and you like face it nonetheless.
I think this must be it. Because that goes down. And that like fits what I've always remembered about what happened. I don't know what to do. I think what I find frustrating is feeling like I should have more of a like welling of emotion. I think grief is an interesting thing like that, and that I should be like, this idea that I should be like inconsolable or feeling like, oh, this is how grief should feel. And instead, that's not what it's ever necessarily felt like.
Yeah, I mean, it's, oh God, where we put our grief, right, is, it's complicated.
Yeah, I remember thinking, I can't let this like take away something that has been so integral to my life, but I also think the more I think about it, like it was, the reason I met this person was because it was so integral to their life as well. And that like to honor their memory is to like keep doing what we were doing.
Your survival and your thriving is so, like I can hold my excitement and my pride for you so differently and at the same time as my grief for losing a friend. I see like nothing but courage.
Yeah, no, and I really appreciate that. I know, like, I know it takes a lot to be out here. Should we roll back? What do you think?
I'm game.
It's called Super Bloom by Mr. Wives. You know a song? This doesn't feel like the place to like ride to this song, but...
You sure?
I don't know. Well, we should head back.
Resilient little thing, just like mama made you. No one needs to save you.
With sport in general, there hasn't been this concerted effort to bring in people who aren't like cis men and women.
I deserve congratulations.
There is a level of liberation you can find with bikes. This is something that brings me so much joy, and I think can bring a lot of other people joy, and I want to bring them in. Are you trans? Are you queer? Are you differently abled? Are you a person of color? Are you someone who has not had a formal invitation? You might like cycling, like you might like bikes. Come and do something that's pretty awesome.
Gravel Road Champion Jersey, non-binary gender expansive division. 1, 2, and 3 in your non-binary gender expansive.
Sometimes it feels a little silly for all of my energy to be around cycling when there are, bigger fish to fry, but also like everyone has the right to like have something that gives them joy. And this just happens to be my thing.
Always embrace and look at the mountain. Love to see you do a keg stand. Well, I'm still mic'd. Forgot about that.